Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. All the kit's on, heaters on, circulating fans on, dehumidifiers on. Basically everything had its systemic bug spray earlier this morning. It's after lunch now, and just looking round, the plants actually look dry, so I'm happy that well, I want to shut this lot down as soon as possible. It's probably costing a fortune to run. Right, orchids to go, well, they just won't. It's not worth the risk. I chatted to Postman Pat this morning. I haven't seen him for most of the week, I must admit. But I asked, how are things? And he said, they're not good. He said, we're around the country, there's quite a lot of people off. He said now he thinks some of them are pulling sickies to go and do their Christmas shopping, and in other cases they're genuinely ill. But he said the backlog from the strike is not going to get cleared this weekend. It's going to roll on into next week, and all the time the post is getting busier and busier because of people sending stuff for Christmas and buying stuff for Christmas. So the post is not getting cleared. And I'm not happy about taking the risk in these very low temperatures. Heading into next week, we are heading down to freezing overnight and stuff like that. So the plants to go are just not going to go. They're going to have to stay. It's not worth the risk. It's just not worth it. I specifically asked him, I said, I don't know whether you know, but if I book online for a collection for a 24-hour delivery, is it going to work? And he said, some of the time yes, but not all of the time. He said there's a lot of these guaranteed 24-hour deliveries are just not making it. They're running on into the next day, and he said sometimes even longer than that. He said we've just got so much on that we can't keep up, and when we get a 2-day backlog, he said, you know, those that are going out on strike will be out on strike before we clear that backlog, and it'll create another one, you know. So, and he said with the increase in the Christmas rush, he said if you've got, well, I explained what it was, and he said, well, you know, the risk is quite high, so I'm going to leave it. Sorry, that's how it goes. And I'm sorry as well, because that's, you know, that's 30 odd plants I've got to carry on looking after that ought to be, you know, somebody else's job. So be it. I'm not fussed about that bit, quite honestly. This time of year, I'm just popping round with the sprayer every few days. What I'm doing is when the mounts need watering, which is every 3rd day, I go round all the pots as well. Oh, have I gone deaf? Funny when that shuts off. It just means it's got up to temperature, that's all. I set it for 21. Anyway, so I just go round the top of the pots as well, which means they're not getting absolutely soaked. They're getting a trickle of water, and it's enough to keep them ticking over in these low temperatures. They're in the hothouse today, relatively speaking. This is as warm as it gets, and it's artificial heat. I couldn't afford to heat up to this temperature every day. You know, I just couldn't do it. So there we are. Orchids to go won't be going. They're going to hold on for a bit. And what is it today? Friday. Tomorrow. Oh, no. I was thinking I had something on tomorrow. I haven't. So tomorrow I'll either do another plant shelf thing. Oh, I tell you what I will show you, because I've just spotted it. I didn't notice that this morning. You know, we had the deformed bloom, and I said I couldn't work out what it was, and unless we get one that opens properly, I won't know. So now I can look it up. And quite honestly, a lot of the blooms are opening successfully now. So I don't know what's up with that one, but I'm quite happy that there's nothing seriously wrong with the plant if it can open a bloom like that. And that, quite honestly, is absolutely gorgeous. Now I've got to go. Now I've got to go and look that up and see if I can find it in my notes and see what it says. It'll probably just say Oncidium hybrid. Anyway, I can at least go and have a look now. I do have an image to work on. Yeah, it's it's nice to see these long arching oncidium type blooms. I enjoy these a lot. Not all of them last a long time, some of them are relatively short-lived, like 2 to 3 weeks, but I just enjoy these long spikes. This one did actually get staked because it was dangling over a bit, so I did stake that. I don't always stake them. The Shari Baby got staked. These other two haven't been staked, this nice orangey yellow one, and the one it's leaning against another spike to stop the plant falling over. But yeah, I like these long arching spikes. You notice, like tucked up in there, there's another spike sticking out there. Now that should have been staked because that's heading off into the jungle, into the undergrowth. You won't be able to see that very well. But the Shari Baby spike is virtually touching the roof now, so that's probably going to have to come down on the lower shelf, probably. And still haven't got this final Cymbidium to open yet. The other two are open. This one's been open some time now. This one's still got a few buds to go. Oh, come over here, that Zygopetalum fragrance hits you straight in the face. But this one's still to go. So, yeah, coming along. But yes, you know, even looking right down into the crevices of the plants, they're not wet, so they have dried out nicely. So what we will do is put this back where it goes, which is 14. So that'll shut that down for the day now, and until the temperature outside starts slowly eating its way through the glass, and the heat in here slowly dissipates probably through the roof. Although that roof is double-skinned polycarbonate, it's not a brilliant form of insulation. There is heat loss up through the roof, but you know, as I've said before, to try and bubble wrap the roof in here is just such a big deal. It means standing on something, it means arching and stretching, and if I did it, I'd probably do me back in for a week. So you know, we have to go careful with such things. And yeah, so I'll probably do a one shelf or rack at a time tomorrow, or I might pull across another Project Orchids, because we are in December now. I want to get those Project Orchids finished. What have we got left? We've got 4 left, so it's not too bad. And then hopefully this Sunday we'll have a normal Sunday chat. I'll think up a subject, unless anybody's got any suggestions. I'm always open to suggestions. But we will. I'm in this Sunday. In fact, I'm in Sundays now until it gets to Christmas Day, and then I'll be in. But I'm not doing videos. Yeah, the only event I've got now is next Saturday is the Orchid Society's Christmas lunch, which I'm really looking forward to. So that's the only event I've got left to go at the moment. Too cold to stain the other bonsai staging, and I can't do it indoors. I'd be worried about drips getting on stuff and cat hair getting stuck to it and that. So that's on hold at the moment. I've done one, and the others can just wait, and we'll revisit that another time. However, I might just have a go at some of that tall foliage there. Because some of that, the stuff that's leaning towards us, where the palm tree is, above that are some very long branches pointing outwards. They're coming off at ground level. So although that means bending over to cut them off at ground level, it's seconds. With a pruning saw, it cuts so fast and so harsh that they would just fall onto the garden very quickly. And then all I've got to do is pick them up once and snip, snip, snip with the secateurs into small pieces, falling into the bag with the bag holder. So I might have a go at them during this week. I'll have to wrap up warm because it's, you know, it's lovely blue sky out there today. It's flipping cold, and at the moment there's virtually no wind. But after the weekend we've got an easterly very cold wind coming in, taking a wind chill down to 0, and then that's going to swing round to the north, which will bring even colder air down. The beauty of a northern wind when you live on the south coast is that it's highly unlikely to bring snow that far down the country. Scotland will get it all. No, we get our snow when the wind swings round to east or southeast, where it comes round the bottom of a low pressure that's up in Siberia somewhere, and it drags the snow down and then pushes it up from the southeast. That's when we get bad snow, and it's very, very, very rare. So I don't expect to see any. I'd love to see some, because I love the snow, especially when I haven't got to go anywhere. But I do feel sorry for those that have still got to travel, because it starts getting nerve-wracking. That's the problem. So it takes all the enjoyment out of any travelling that you might want to do. So anyway, that'll do for today. And I'm now going to go and find out what that is. And if I do find out and it's actually got a name, I'll do a pop-up. It means doing editing. Yeah, well, it's not exactly a big deal, is it? And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.